go ahead and get started with the very first story, which is about Michael Rapaport. So apparently there has been this video going around on Twitter that has gone viral of Michael Rapaport having a conversation in a hallway. It looks like this is either a hotel or an apartment building, whichever. And people have questions about this video, and I have questions about this video. Some people saw this and they retweeted it and posted it and said it's a gotcha moment for Michael Rapaport. For me, I don't feel like this video is a gotcha, and I'll get into that in just a second. First and foremost, I want to explain to you just how bad Michael Rapaport has been in reference to Israel and Gaza. I want to start off with this clip here where he's actually repeating Zionist lies, still spreading propaganda about what has happened to the Palestinian people and what happened on October 7th, even though some of these things that he's mentioning have already been debunked. Let's go ahead and get into that video here that he posted. Jesus.
164 days. 164 days since October 7th. There's 134 hostages in Gaza. There is no hostage deal. And remember this, every single person associated with Hamas is a motherless They rape, they commit arson, they kidnap, they murder, and they would still be doing it today.
Pause. So one of the talking points that he's repeating is the talking point about the sexual assaults, obviously, which has already been deemed not credible, right? The New York Times already had to part ways with the so-called journalist. And I say so-called because obviously we went through her background. She was not a journalist until all of a sudden after October 7th, right? She was a former member of the IDF, right? So they've already had to part ways with her. The story has been debunked multiple times by not just the Gray Zone, but also The Intercept has also debunked that story. And of course, there was no forensics evidence in reference to that as well. But notice how people like himself, Rabbi Shmuley, they continue to repeat that talking point.
If they weren't stopped, there's no hostage deal yet, because the atrocities that happened on October 7th are the single best thing that has ever come out of the Gaza Strip in 75 years. Can you believe that? These guys have wasted 75 years trying to take over Israel. There's no two-state solution. There is no two-state solution with these. They want they want a one-state solution, and that ain't happened. And
let me pause for a second. So this is another thing that's pretty revealing. He talks about that the Palestinian people do not want a two-state solution. The two-state solution so-called offerings, or the partition, so to speak, you have to remember this did not include the right to return. And also, why should they have to have a two-state solution instead of a one-state solution when they were already there on the land? You have to remember it was Israel that actually forcefully removed them from their homes and put them in an open-air prison. So we also have to remember that. So it's okay for Israel to have all the land, but it's not okay for the Palestinian people to have all the land. Again, that shows you the level of supremacy.
They killed and kidnapped the most peaceful people in Israel, and they did it on purpose. They did that on purpose. They want all the land. And I'm starting to think these dumb we're going around saying that they're martyrs, this, that, and the third, and that life doesn't start until death. I think these are living their life hoping and praying they take over. Can you imagine that? You waste your whole life, day after day, year after year, decade after decade, with hopes and dreams of taking over Israel?
So how is that any different from what Israel has been doing for the past couple decades, since 1948? How is that any different? How is that any different from Israel trying to remove all the Palestinian people, removing people from the West Bank and building illegal settlements? You have to remember, a lot of the Palestinians that were in Gaza were refugees. They were forcefully removed and they were put there. So how is it any different?
Whatever the rationale it is, whatever the rationale is, it's dumb as
So that just goes to show you a little bit of the rhetoric that has been coming from Michael Rapaport. Now, for those who are not aware, Michael Rapaport, he is a, I guess, washed up actor now. Like, he used to be a little bit more popular back in the day. I'll show you an example of that later on. But it's almost as if like these Zionist organizations actually sought out to find Hollywood actors that were a little bit more B-list or C-list. They're not as popular as they used to be. That's where Deborah Messing comes in, right? That's where Noah Tishby comes in. A lot of these people that you haven't heard from in a while, Jerry Seinfeld, who a lot of us have probably forgotten about, they have recruited these people, right, to get them to come forward and to push their propaganda. Now, this is the viral video that is going around on Twitter. And Michael Rapaport says there's a video circulating that makes it seem like I'm getting paid for all my videos. This is not real. CGI and AI'd me. Now, we'll bring up the video and I'll let you see it for yourself. I will go ahead and tell you, I don't think this is CGI. I don't think it's AI. I think it is actually him. I think it is real, but I'll tell you what I think about this video and how this came about. Listen to this.
Price for the videos I've been getting. If I say Israel, you got to pay me a certain price. If I say Zionist, you pay me a certain price. If I say Zionist, Israel, and Jewish, that's the big three, I get paid for that. Right. Same as always. Yeah, just keep paying me the same thing. Zionist, Israel, Jewish, you pay me. No problem. If I do what if I do a watermelon emoji and if I say something about fuck Palestine?
Okay, let's pause here for a second because I want to show you one thing that I noticed about this video the first time I watched it. So a lot of people were retweeting this and they said, oh, Michael Rapaport, you're busted, right? That's why I'm like busted with a question mark, because he is actually standing in front of, is this a picture? There's a picture here on the wall. Notice there's a reflection in the picture. In the picture, you can actually see the reflection of the exit sign, which is across the hall, right? And you can also see his shadow here. And you can also see the reflection of the other side of the hallway in the picture. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because it is obvious here, this is a door that is open and someone is recording this video. So you would also be able to see, if not in that picture, at least from the side, you would be able to see that there is someone there. This was the big giveaway, I think, right? Like some people said like, oh my God, you're a fool. You got caught. Or some people were like, no, I think this could be staged or whatever. I think it is staged. I don't think that this is real. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. I think he's acting. I think he knows that he was being filmed. Again, the big giveaway is the picture that he's standing in front of, which has the reflection from the other side of the hall. That part is very telling. Okay, let me let him finish.
If I say fuck Palestine on camera, okay, you're gonna give me more. Okay, cool. Fucking film me. Price for the videos.
So again, we'll fast forward here because I want you to see, I want to stop right about here when he turns to walk. Okay, so he turns around and then the person who is filming him shuts the door and he says, you don't film me. Watch this.
Fucking film me. Price for the videos I've been getting. If I say Israel.
So again, you mean to tell me at no point when he was in this hallway, even when he's standing right here, you don't see that this door is open right here and someone's filming you? Of course he does. This was an act. This is Michael Rapaport acting, and he was probably paid to do this. It's just too obvious. I'm like, come on, guys. I know if that were me and I was standing there, I would be able to see, I would be able to see on the side of my eye that there is a door open right here. Two, why the hell would you go into the hallway and start talking about, will you pay me if I say these things? Why would you talk about that openly in the hallway if that's something that's supposed to be kept under wraps, right? You would not. But he did. because I believe it's an act. Now, what's interesting, let's come out of here. Gritty is the way said, LOL. Okay. It's interesting because remember in his comment here, he said, this is not real. CGI and AI'd me. That's not CGI. And that's not AI. That's him. And I believe he's acting. Now, another thing I wanted to point out in reference to him being paid, because this is not to say he's not paid to make the comments that he's making on Twitter. There's actually a video here, and MB shared this and said, is this you and the price? ? He may have forgotten about this. Listen to this.
You got me. I make money off of all these posts. Okay. Yes, I make money. I don't want to say how much money I make off of these posts. Pro-Israel, pro-Zionist, pro-Jewish posts. Yes, I make money per post and I get paid extra. I shouldn't be saying this, but I get paid extra every comment that's pro-Hamas. So every time you guys make comments saying, from the river to the sea, or if you post a Palestinian flag or a watermelon, I get paid a little bit more. So I don't know what anyone else is doing. I don't know about their deals, but that's.
Let me pause for a second. This is why I was trying to tell people not to respond. And I was doing it too at first, but stop responding to the Zionists on Twitter. A lot of these accounts are paid for you. Every time you retweet them, every time you comment, a lot of these accounts, these people are getting paid. So don't respond to them. Don't respond to them on Twitter. Just FYI.
That's my deal. And I just want to be honest about it. Okay. I just want to be honest about it going forward, that I do get paid off of every pro-Jewish, pro-Israel post. When I say free the hostages, I get paid a little bit. I can't go into the details of the deal that I have made with the higher ups. I can't even say who they are, but it is true. And when you comment with Palestinian flags, I get paid more money. When you comment saying propaganda, I get paid even more. That's all.
Yeah. So that's not surprising to me. Dr. He Lee said, at the expense of genocide, he has no conscience at all. Yeah, it's, some people feel like it's not him. This has been debatable. I see a couple comments here where Mentoring said, of course it's staged. Why would he discuss that topic in the hallway barefoot? Why wouldn't he be in his room? That's a good point. Some people feel like I do. They feel like it was staged. He was just acting. And some people feel like, no, he actually was caught. I don't think this was a gotcha for him. I think this was just a part of the plan. Just like I've also heard from people that the snowball video of him on Twitter where someone's throwing a snowball in his face, I've also heard from people that was staged as well. Now, here's the interesting part. Some of you may not remember this. I don't know how old everyone is in the chat, but I seem to remember Michael Rapaport actually playing a Nazi in the movie Higher Learning, right? So he tweeted this as well. He said, I'm canceling myself for playing a Nazi in Higher Learning. So for those who may not have seen that movie, right? So here's the part about this that's very telling, though. Because what it goes to show you is that, yes, he's acting and he's playing a part, he's playing a role for a movie, but it goes to show you how he can, on one hand, he can identify with the fact that he is Jewish, right? And on the other hand, he can still play a Nazi. Oh, Michael, I know. He killed Tyra Banks. I know, Michael. I know. So yeah, because people did start to call that out. They were like, didn't you play like a Nazi or something like that? So yeah, I don't know. Think whatever you want about that video, but I feel like it's staged. That's my take on that.